Everybody. So today is very exciting. We are getting my final entry in this list of my top 100 favorite films. I hope you have really enjoyed it. Remember, these are just my favorite, not necessarily the best ever made, but just my personal favorites. And so let's get started. My number 10, I have Star Wars. And I would really pick probably like three or four of them are probably my favorite. But if I had to pick one that is my favorite, I'm going with the original Star Wars, A New Hope. I just love it. I love that it's a movie that makes me want to cheer at the end. I love all the lore of the Jedi being introduced, and I love the characters. I love Han, how in his early scenes is so great. I really love getting to know Obi-Wan. And some people think Luke's annoying. I don't. I relate to his character, and I think it's just such a when they finally get the Death Star. To me, that's exciting. It makes me want to cheer, and I really like it. So if I have to pick, that one's my favorite, and then probably Force Awakens, which was my favorite for a long time, but now I have to admit, The Last Jedi, some of the choices they made kind of impacted my feelings about the Force Awakens. I still like it. It's my second favorite. And then Empire Strikes Back is my third favorite. It's probably the best made, but it's just not as like, it doesn't make me want to cheer. It's not as like, it's just different experience than like the pulpy space adventure. And that's what I really like in Star Wars. Number 9, I have Breakfast at Tiffany's. And this movie has one massive flaw, of course, was the Mickey Rooney performance. You just don't want to play another race. Like, that's really bad, and everybody's apologized for it. Everybody had apologized for it that was involved. That part, I feel like I can just sort of fast forward. So putting that aside, I just love this movie because I think this movie is about two wounded people, two lost people who find each other through love. And I just love the performances. I love the dialogue. I think the scene at the end in the cab is one of my favorite scenes of all of movies when he says, "You know what's the matter with you? You're chicken. You got no guts. Afraid to stick out your neck and say life's a fact. People do fall in love. People do belong to each other because that's the only chance of happiness we've got." And then he says, you call yourself a free spirit, a wild thing, and you're terrified someone's going to stick you in a cage. Well, baby, you're already in that cage. You built it yourself. Not bound by Tulip, Texas in the west or Somaliland in the east. It's wherever you go, because no matter what you do, you just end up running into yourself. And I think that's sort of the main message of the movie. And A.J. Berman, he talks about Holly being a phony, but being a real phony. And I think, a lot of people really love the whole idea of phonies and Catcher in the Rye. But I think this says it in a way that I relate to and that I can understand, where Holly is being something that she's not, but like she's real about it. So she's a phony, but she's a real phony. And I think that it's not until she meets Paul who's also pretending to be something that he's not, that she is able to kind of let go of that. And it takes a long time. She holds on to it way longer than she should, but I just love it. I even think I love Moon River. Moon River is a dream maker and a heartbreaker. So there's that element of contrast. And I think that Breakfast at Tiffany's is a movie about complex characters who struggle with these different sides of themselves and how authentic to really be, and whether they should play a part and who they really are. Because when Holly is being Lula May, that's not really who she is either. And she says, I don't know what I am. I'm like Cat or two slobs without names. And I don't know, I just love it. I think it's great. Obviously the fashion's amazing, and Audrey Hepburn is the best in it. I really like George Peppard as Paul. I think it has so many iconic scenes. It's just one of my favorite movies. It's only number 9 just because of the Mickey Rooney part, and that part's not good. So that gets it to number 9. But it's a movie that I find endlessly fascinating, and it speaks to me as a person. So number 9, Breakfast at Tiffany's. Number 8, I have Back to the Future. Back to the Future is such a joyful movie. I love it. I love time travel stories, first of all, but I don't know. I just love Marty going back and meeting his parents and trying to get them together. And then his mom ends up falling in love with him, which is hilarious. And Michael J. Fox is so charming. And there's so many iconic things, the DeLorean, and I love Christopher Lloyd is so great as Doc Brown. I like Leah Thompson in this. Crispin Glover, like it's his definitely most mainstream role. I even like Biff by Thomas Wilson. He is great. It's just I love this. The music is really great. It's just one of my favorite blockbusters ever. So Back to the Future gets number 8. Then I have You've Got Mail at number 7. I love romantic comedies. Remember, this is a list of my favorites, and I love Nora Ephron's writing. And Nora Ephron, I think this is her best script that she does. It has so many hilarious lines that I just like. If you listen to our podcast that me and Christine did on You've Got Mail, we're just like quoting lines the whole time because I just think it's so funny. I think that it actually has something interesting to say about work and how we're defined by where we work so often. And it's not until Kathleen loses the store that she figures out this whole new side to her, and she figures out this, she never even thought of becoming an editor. And I think we are just so defined so often by what our jobs are. And it's not until they don't even talk about their job with NY152 that she's able to really fall in love. And I just love it. I love the original, but this is one of the rare instances where I think the remake is even better. And it's got so many iconic scenes. I love the thinker and the interview. I love the whole supporting cast. Greg Kinnear, Parker Posey, hilarious. Jean Stapleton, so great. She has the affair with General Franco, so funny. I think it has super heart. I love the scene when she's talking about change and how, change is something people always say is a good thing, but that just means something you didn't want to have happen has happened and you have to deal with it. I love Dave Chappelle as Tom Hanks' friend. He's hilarious. I just love You've Got Mail. So it had to make my list because it's one of my favorite movies. Number 7, You've Got Mail. Number 6, I Have Your Name. And if you've been following my channel at all, you know how much I love this movie. I think it is near perfection. I absolutely love the beginning, which is more silly and funny with the body swapping. But I love the ending even more as things get more and more desperate, and and Taki is just desperate to save Mitsuha. He doesn't know her name, but he knows her, and he felt her presence on the subway. And they have that band that connects them. And once you understand someone's value as a human being, you will do almost anything to save them. And I think that's the main message of this movie. And I think the ending is perfect. I get so invested in like, how are they going to save this village? They're on different timelines, and the animation is gorgeous. I absolutely love the music. I think it is beautiful. I think just the whole spiritual aspect to it with the connection that they have, like I said, is a connection to humanity. It's even more than just a love story. It's just a beautiful story about understanding the value of the other and how that can change our lives. And it's just, I absolutely love Your Name. Number 5, I have The Wizard of Oz. The Wizard of Oz is just about perfect in my books. It's a little scary maybe for little kids, but I love the opening sequences with the black and white. I love Judy Garland singing Over the Rainbow, which is my favorite song. And I think when it transitions into the color, the tornado, it totally holds up and is great. I think that all of the songs are super enjoyable and fun. I really like all of the cast. I really think I think Judy Garland's performance is underrated in it because she does a really good job when she has to see Aunt Em in the in the Globe or whatever at the Wicked Witches thing, and she just starts crying at M, and like that is an emotional moment. Like it's really well done, and the wizard is such an interesting character and how he's able to sort of solve people's problems, and they don't pay attention to the man behind the curtain is a really classic line. I mean, this movie's so iconic, and every attempt I think to follow up to it to me has been disappointing, and it's just something about this story. This is just the way it's supposed to be done. It's the way I love, and it's just almost perfect movie. Number 4, I have Spirited Away. Spirited Away is the most creative movie I think I've ever seen in my life. Like every scene was something unexpected and new, and yet it's all done in a narrative where Chihiro is growing as a character. She starts out kind of whiny. She's kind of grumpy about having to move, and as she faces all of these challenges, she grows as a character. So she's like such a strong character that's able to fight for what she wants and the people that she's grown to love. And I mean, it's just so beautiful. The animation is stunning. And it's just an incredible experience to watch. Yes, it is traumatic when her parents become pigs, but that's all part of kind of sort of shocking the character into this point where she is sort of desperate to do whatever it takes to save her family and to change and to grow. And it's basically, I mean, I love Alice in Wonderland. I already had that on my list, top 100. But this is sort of Alice in Wonderland with even more. I mean, it's hard because Alice in Wonderland, we know it so well, so it's probably equally creative. But I think Spirited Away has a little bit more of a narrative to it than Alice in Wonderland. You see Chihiro's growth, and as she works hard for the boiler man there, and she learns kind of when to be bold, when to follow orders. All this stuff I think is so great, and it gives you moments to pause, moments to think, and then you're on to more just wild inventiveness. And just, like I said, every scene, like I love a formula film. Obviously, You've Got Mail is a formula film, but I also love an experience that's something truly original. And I think Spirited Away is a truly original masterpiece. 3, I have Jurassic Park. And Jurassic Park to me is just about a perfect movie. I think it's the best blockbuster ever made. It has it has not only great dinosaurs, which stunned me when I first saw it. I saw it 7 times in the theater, and just that awe and grandeur, when they first see the Brachiosaurus is just great. But it also has really great characters like Dr. Grant and Dr. Sadler and of course Dr. Malcolm, and their moments of honesty and truth. And I love the scene when John Hammond is sitting eating ice cream and talking to Dr. Sadler, and she kind of gives him a dope slap and says, remember, these are people we love. They're the priority. And I think that scene really says a lot to both of those characters. And so people forget it's not just about the dinosaurs. It's about the character. I love the moment when Dr. Grant is with the kids and they're resting and the Brachiosaurus comes and they ends up sneezing on Lexi. But that's like a soft moment in between all of this chaos. And you kind of need that. And it's pretty scary. It's tense. It's way more tense than any of the sequels have been. So I just love Jurassic Park. The score is the best, and from John Williams. And so, yeah, number 3 for me, Jurassic Park. Number 2 is The Little Mermaid. Yes, like I said, these are just my favorite. I absolutely love The Little Mermaid. I love Ariel. I think that she is an independent, free spirit, and a lot of people give her crap because she like gives up her being a mermaid to have legs. But that's not really true. I don't think it's fair at all, because she sings part of her world before she sees Eric, and she's collected all of this human stuff. Like, she knows that is part of her. That's where she belongs. That's where she's supposed to be. And when Triton destroys all of her stuff, like that's basically him saying there is no way, like that's it, you're done. And so of course she's going to be vulnerable to Ursula. It makes perfect sense to me. She's a very, very independent, free-spirited person, and I totally related to her as a child, and I totally relate to her now. And I think you can really see when she gets up to land, because just her delight in everything that she sees. If it was just about being with Eric, then she wouldn't have this glee at everything in the town, the puppet show and everything that she sees. She is so excited. Even the dingle, the fork, the dingle hopper, and everything like that. I love the music. Is so great. Under the Sea, Part of Your World. Ursula is the best, one of the best villain in Disney. I just love The Little Mermaid. It's the first music I really fell in love with. It's the first movie I really fell in love with, and I still love it. And so it's my number 2 favorite movie of all time. Now here we go. Everybody knows my number 1 favorite movie of all time is Pixar's Up. And Pixar's Up I love so much because to me, it is about a character learning to get over his guilt and regret about his life and being ready to start a new life. And I find that so moving and beautiful when it starts out with this story of his life with Ellie and Carl. The thing that most people don't understand about that whole montage is that that's actually really sad for Carl. That's not a happy memory because he feels like all of those things weren't enough for Ellie. Like he should have given her more. And that is why he goes to South America. He wants to give Ellie more. And when he is just talking to her the whole time, it really means a lot to me because I try to kind of do that a little bit, that remember that the people we love that have passed are still part of us. They're still, and if we fulfill their dreams, that's like almost that they're still with us. And I just love the ending when he's looking through the scrapbook and he sees Ellie's note and that she loved him and says, go have another adventure. I love that scene so much because he's had all of this regret and he finally realizes that she loved him and that she forgives him for everything. And I just love it so much. And I love the music and I love the dogs. I don't care what anybody says. I have a plot hole with Carl and Charles Muntz being the same age, but I don't care. Pete Docter said that basically they got to a point because they were going to have that Kevin had like Fountain of Youth eggs or whatever. And so that's how they were going to do it, but it just took time out of the script. And so they were like, you know what, people are going to like this movie so much, they will forgive us of that plot hole. And I at least completely do. I really think Russell is great because Carl learns to love again, and he's ready at the end to love Russell. And I think so you need his character in the movie for him to show that growth at the end, that he's gone from being this bitter man who's just alone in his house to being ready to love. And so I absolutely love Up. I think it is just about perfect. And so I know a lot of other people have problems with it. I don't care. This is my list and my favorites. And Up is my favorite movie, and it's my favorite animated film and my favorite Pixar movie. So there you go. That's what it is. And great voice talent as well. So Ed Asner, perfect voice casting for Carl. And there we go. That's my favorite movie. So in this countdown, we had my top 10 favorite movies of all time. We had Star Wars, A New Hope, number 10. Number 9, Breakfast at Tiffany's. Number 8, Back to the Future. Number 7, You've Got Mail. Number 6, Your Name. Number 5, Wizard of Oz. Number 4, Spirited Away. Number 3, Jurassic Park. Number 2, The Little Mermaid. And number 1, Up. So there you go. That's my list. So let me know what you think of my list. And now we're done, my top 100. And I'm going to do next week kind of a retrospective going over my top 100 and maybe some honorable mentions that didn't get in that I always struggled with. And so let me know what you think. And thanks so much. Please subscribe to my channel. I'll talk to you later. Bye.